Welcome back to Silent Hill, everybody.
You sound you sound so eager.
To be fair, would you want to visit Silent Hill?
It's like, man, when I put up a part on my favorite commentary group, the first thing I want them to do is greet me with the same energy that makes me want to put me to sleep.
To be fair, John, a lot of people claim that your voice is soothing and they listen to you when they want to relax.
Yeah, but that's beneficiary. This is more like.
You see, I don't understand because you sometimes do the shouty thing, and that would wake me up.
Quick, do the shouty thing.
No, you're the one who does the shouty thing.
No, you're louder than me.
This was me trying to figure out how to use the axe.
Well, you're swinging it. Down, boy.
Get the stick. Get the stick.
Now be a good dog and play dead.
I said play dead.
I said play dead. I still see you breathing.
Is that a quote from something, or?
No.
No.
It sounded like you were doing a Resident Evil voice.
Well, I did give him a Chris Redfield voice, but I don't know why I do that by default when it comes to PS1 horror games.
Well, probably because it's the first voice you think of.
Yeah.
Barry Burns is the one I think of first, ironically.
I always think of Scott McCulloch. That's Chris. Harry, where's Harry?
Oh, you mean Richter Belmont?
That's what smoking does to your voice. Anyway.
Lewis, wake up.
What am I doing right now? I'm probably... Okay, so when I was playing the game, I actually had a map open on the monitor next to me that told me where all the items in the town were. Because, I'm not looking for them on my own. I already did my time when Assassin's Creed 2 did that fucking feather thing, and I insisted on finding them all. And that was a terrible mistake.
What's the Assassin's Creed 2 feather thing?
Okay, so in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Ubisoft wised up and let you buy maps to all of the collectible items scattered around the sandbox, because in Assassin's Creed 2, they scattered all these feathers around that you're essentially collecting to put in a box so that, like, your crippled brother or something can have them as a keepsake. Oh no, it was for your mute mother. That's the one. I think it was your mute mother. It's been so long since I played Assassin's Creed 2. Brotherhood is just better in every way. But, yeah. So you need to find all of them. And even if you get yourself a map online, it only tells you, like, the general location and, not the elevation, which is important in an Assassin's Creed game because you're climbing all over the goddamn place. And, Italy is not a simple architecture kind of town. Area, country, place.
You can't just slip Italy on like a boot.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you. So, like, not only, like, even when I caved and looked for a map to find the last few feathers with, and that was a mistake because then I had to actually check all the feathers that I'd actually gotten to see that they weren't there anymore. It was a very tedious process.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so I never want to do that again. And whenever a sandbox game gives me the ability to just home in on collectibles, thank you, Spider-Man, I praise the sun.
I think what Lewis is saying here, that whenever he runs into that mechanic, he just wants to play Dark Souls instead.
Something like that.
Okay, you're recording that commentary then.
Man,
Thanks
Dark
for
Souls
volunteering.
is the Dark Souls of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
I was already planning to record Dark Souls, but I actually need to finish it first.
Oh man, Lewis.
If you make one
mistake,
I'm gonna
comments
piss
will eat
everyone
you.
off by being that one jackass who dual wields in Dark Souls 1, because dual wielding in Dark Souls 1 is just something you do when you want to look cool. It doesn't really give you an advantage.
If you're gonna do that, let me know. I will gladly be your partner for that. Let's join in the. I'm assuming you're playing remastered.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot you can multiplayer that.
Yeah.
Huh. Don't you have to do something specific to get that going though?
No.
I think
No.
you just have to turn the online feature on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
It might be on by default. I don't know. Dark Souls.
It's on by default, and you
But-
can't turn it off unless you take the internet off.
Well, I insist on beating it on my own before I record in any case.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So 5 years.
Yeah. So 15th anniversary? 15th anniversary? Yeah, 15th anniversary.
Well, it depends on whether or not I'm more in the mood to beat Bloodborne first. But either one, I record either one. I'm going to be recording that one for the channel as soon as I beat it. In any case, though, this is why you shouldn't go down this bridge, but until you've completed the Kaufman quest, because the moment you shift to the other world, your path backward is blocked, and you're stuck over here.
So you closed out of the good ending.
Yeah.
So you can lock yourself out of the good ending. That's
Yes.
I think I do understand that. Like if you want to have multiple endings, I suppose. I guess how were you able to get the good ending the first time you played the game, or was it?
Well,
did
I
you
knew
have
what
to
I
wait?
was doing the first time I played the game.
Oh,
I
okay.
still almost missed the Aglophagus though, because I didn't realize that I needed to get it before progressing so far into the area. So I realized without having to look it up that I had missed something. So I actually reloaded my save, went back and explored a little more.
Okay.
But I almost missed the plus ending. And that was knowing that I needed to find something in that particular place. So, sometimes it's a little tricky. Only a little, though. Man, there are so many holes in this grated fence. Look at that. There's a hole as big as my foot in the grated fence. And, it's thankful. I'm thankful that this is just a texture across, like, a transparent... You can walk on this programming block. Because if that was an actual hole... And,
You'd
like...
be sticking through it right now.
Your foot falls through that. You cut up your leg on the way down. Jesus. Ugh. Man. Okay. So, I can see like maybe 2% of the screen right now. Can you tell I don't like the second half of this game? That's why my energy is gone, by the way. Because the good part of the game ended with the hospital. And it doesn't come back to life until, like, the final area of the game. And that's not until after the theme park area.
But what are we doing here?
Just making our way from A to B, really.
Yeah, because you
Making our
said
way
that
down.
the resort area in its entirety is optional.
No,
Right.
the town area off to the east side of the resort area is optional. This entire chunk of town is technically the resort area. But going around and exploring the town section before the other world is optional. You can just walk right past it if you want. In any case...
Long hallway is long.
Now I'm gonna do the shuffle.
It's electric.
Wait a minute. I thought I was doing the electric sled, and I'm singing the hustle.
It only looks like a hallway because it's too dark to see anything. This part of town is actually the docks.
Have they ever remastered or remade the? Well, there was what is it? Shattered
Shattered
Memories. But
That's
that's
yeah.
not really the same
significantly different. You said.
That's
so-
like Batman the Brave and the Bold compared to the animated series. Okay, so yeah.
Those are nothing alike.
Exactly. You got my point. Thanks. In any case,
Almost died there.
yeah.
Excuse me, dog, while I chug these life drinks.
Looks like you could certainly use one. Waka waka.
I love how video games with pause screen healing just let you, like, enemies will just sit there and let you eat 15 apples, and then you're better. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Someone made a comic about that for Breath of the Wild. Where Link gets smashed by one of those one-eyed giant things. While he's flying towards a tree, he pulls out a lobster dinner out of nowhere and just shoves it down his throat before he hits the tree.
Okay, that reminds me of something, but it's kind of tangential. But this is BrainScratch, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Fallout New Vegas. Okay, the Fallout games by Bethesda let you eat items to heal yourself, with the only drawback being that like they give you a slight radiation boost every time you do, unless you find one of the rare pieces of food that is not irradiated. But Fallout New Vegas keeps that system but adds an optional hardcore mode, which in any other game would be like a super headachy hard difficulty mode. In New Vegas, it's actually a we made food and water realistic now mode, where you have a hunger and a thirst meter, and food heals you over time instead of being you can heal immediately kind of button. So you actually do have to put thought into how and when you use that stuff in hardcore mode, which I love. It's great. And the best part is, it's not tied to any difficulty mode. You can just activate it at the start of a playthrough and, have your fun no matter what you're doing.
You see, I enjoy that when you can mix and match the difficulties, for example. The only other thing that I can think of that does that off the top of my head is Fire Emblem right now. But in that game, like, you can have Phoenix hard mode or whatever, so it's it's the hardest enemies, but all of the characters come back to life when they die or so after the mission or something.
So
like that.
you can
And
play it like a Fire Emblem game, or you can play it like a Shining Force game.
Yeah, basically. And I don't know. I find that kind of mixed matching for difficulty options neat.
Yeah. Well, you say that's the only thing you can think of off the top of your head, but we did talk about that in an earlier part where Silent Hills 2, 3, and Downpour have the separate puzzle difficulty.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that just didn't come to mind because that was like 4 weeks ago, and I haven't played these.
Yeah. Yeah, so New Vegas hardcore mode is cool. Unfortunately, it's the only Fallout game that I can think of that does that. So, I just wonder what Oblivion was smoking when they thought of that idea.
I thought a different team made New Vegas.
Obsidian made New Vegas.
Sorry, I got them confused with
Bethesda.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Some people seem to forget that New Vegas was outsourced. But, yeah. Obsidian being the company that was well known for really good RPGs. I've heard some rumblings from fans that a lot of their talent seems to be gone, but I wouldn't really be able to weigh in on that because I haven't played their more recent games. Like, what are they working on these days? Pillars of Eternity?
Oh yeah, I heard that game was good.
Yeah. All Pillars of Eternity is good. I haven't played 2.
I think I played like the first couple hours of the first Pillars of Eternity, and it was okay, but I'm not a big CRPG person, and it didn't really change my mind, but it was well made for the kind of game that it was trying to be, for sure.
CRPG?
Computer RPG.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a distinction that only really exists for older games because they had a different design mentality to them.
I thought like Cambodia was making RPGs suddenly.
Well,
It's kind of one of those things like how a JRPG doesn't necessarily have to be made in Japan,
No, it's a style.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So it could be an RPG Maker game, or it could be something like Subterra, which I think was a Western-made game, or Sudeki. Is that the name of that game? The one that I pointed out at the convention that had a quote on the cover from Maxim magazine. That's the one. That still amuses me. It's like, okay. People who buy these magazines are really into RPGs, are they? Well, I can think of 2 reasons.
They are plot and story, definitely.
Definitely.
Boob.
Is the timing of that
Sorry,
made it sound like a battle cry.
wait, that's what Harry says when he swings the thing.
Attack the dog.
Boob.
Like some really, really immature version of Hodor from Game of Thrones.
Honestly, I'm surprised. From what I've seen of Silent Hill, they don't tend to go for the cheap sex stuff as often. Like, I know
Nah.
that Silent Hill 2 has a lot of sexual imagery in it, but it seems like they're actually trying to make a point and not just be like, oh, boobies. So,
Yeah.
that's...
And then they turn around in Silent Hill 3 and sort of show that from the other side of the coin in the hospital when you revisit it as Heather. So, there's some thought put into these things.
How did you get back here? I walked, but that's not important right now.
It's not like we're Fatal Frame here where everything has to be sexy because it's Namco and that means Team Ninja is on it.
Itagaki!
Honestly, I'm surprised that they... Actually, okay, so I was gonna make a joke about like, oh, I'm surprised they haven't put giant tits on Miss Pac-Man. But if you look at the art on the cabinets for the original Miss Pac-Man, they clearly want you to have sex with Miss Pac-Man. Like her leg, like she has gigantic like Playboy model legs and stuff. So I mean, granted, she's a pizza with a bow on her, so I don't particularly find that attractive. But if that's Namco's thing, then you know
Hey,
what,
kids,
whatever.
Did you ever want it to fuck your pizza?
Pizza the
On
Hut.
it, John, is it sad that the answer for at least one person in the comment section is going to be yes?
So, Ted, are you that person who wanted to fuck the pizza?
In Miss Pac-Man's case, they were clearly trying to, parody a particular kind of art, a particular style of drawing. But, I think it works as a joke, but, I can see that some people may have missed the point.
But that was also clearly before our time, before DeviantArt and just internet in general. So
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Miss Pac-Man basically is Pac-Man with the super crown on him anyway. So,
Oh god, that really blew up.
Yep.
Nintendo should just plug their Twitter in a retweet or
so
something.
if Pac-Man got the crown, would it be Pac-Et?
so actually, something really funny is,
the
is
et
that there's
part
an old...
belongs to Toadette.
We know, Lewis.
Yes. What's really funny though is that there's an old tweet by Nintendo from like 2014 or whatever, and it has like a whole bunch of Mario enemies wearing Peach's crown. They're not like sexy or anything like that, but they just are. It's like Boo's one of them, and it's like,
Yeah,
wow,
they're
they
auditioning
knew.
for something.
Unfortunately, none of them found the real Grail.
They only opened Pandora's box, but dared not look in it.
Yeah, because if you look in there, you die, John.
Anyway, while none of us were paying attention, Sybil Bennett walked back into the story, and so did Dahlia, and she's talking like a cryptic asshole.
Wow, you're talking like a cryptic asshole.
And Sybil is at the point where she doesn't quite understand the supernatural aspect still. And that's another thing, because Sybil, it doesn't seem like she runs into monsters in the same way Harry does, because she's very slow to pick up on the fact that supernatural shit is going on.
Well, then again, doesn't Silent Hill shift depending on the person?
Yeah, and that's a thing. Sybil seems to imply in one of her lines of dialogue that she thinks that the things that have been attacking her are people who are on drugs. Now, you wouldn't know this from the game, but in her backstory, which I think was in the novel we didn't get a translation for, she witnessed her parents being murdered while she was hidden in a closet. And that's why she's a police officer. She's basically Batman, if Batman went about things by the book.
It's also the origin story of Sarah's Victoria in Hellsing.
What about
Holy shit,
Spider
no,
Cop?
There's a spider cop.
No, that's a joke in the Spider-Man game.
It's a
okay.
very early joke in the Spider-Man game.
Okay.
I'll
I'll play that eventually.
That was a great bit of banter.
Spider Cop knew she would come around eventually.
He's on the radio with a police officer, Yuri Watanabe, and he's basically narrating himself and messing with Yuri Watanabe the whole time, who's just not having it. Yeah, it was great. I love that game's dialogue. Like, there are things about that game that could be better, but I think on the whole it's a really great one. You see, that was her walking out the door because we didn't have the budget to animate it. So Harry conveniently
help
looks
drink.
away and the door slams.
Yeah, man, that would have taken someone like a whole day to animate. And we don't got time for that kind of stuff.
No, fam. You gotta animate piss instead.
Now, one of the things that I really like graphically about Silent Hill 1 is that even though it's a PlayStation 1 game, they cram a lot of detail into the environments. It's really impressive. It's at its best when you're in an enclosed space, but there is a lot of detail in the outdoors too.
Yeah, so the indoor states has the benefit of them having to worry about rendering so many things at once.
Yeah.
The dark environment definitely helps mask limitations too.
Yeah. It's just comparing this to like Dino Crisis 1, it's like night and day.
I get
Yeah,
it,
Silent
because
Hill
this
needs more
one takes
dinosaurs.
place at night, and that one takes place in the day. I
Actually,
get it.
no, it doesn't.
Oh. Damn it.
I don't even get my tish and my bottom tish.